For the last couple years, when I've planted my screening and also when I've taken soil samples, there's a couple things that have been happening. One, taking soil samples has been very hard to get a probe into the ground. I had to use a hammer even to hammer it into the ground as the soil is very compacted. The screening that I use is called Fortress from Grandpa Ray Outdoors. It includes Egyptian wheat, pearl millet, a screening sorghum, and then also a grain sorghum. So that gives us the shorter ones, the sorghum and the millet give it some standability, and the Egyptian wheat gets really tall. The last couple of years that I've done it, I showed you guys in a couple of videos previously on how to plant screening and why to plant screening. It's been a really yellow, light green color. It doesn't have that deep green like you like to see with your field corn or your sweet corn or even this type of screening. We had a dry year last year, that's a lot of it, but it also just didn't get a lot of height on it. I ended up with a lot of ragweeds in it because of the dry weather. And so one of the things that has been recommended to me by Grandpa Ray Outdoors, and also just in general some research that I've done, is adding gypsum to your soil. And that is sulfur and calcium. And what that tends to do is it helps loosen up some of that soil compaction, especially for like a heavy clay soil or that type of soil that can tend to get clotted and compacted. And it'll also, with the sulfur, will add a lot of that deep green color and make your plant healthier. And so that's what my goal is here today. And with your gypsum, it can take many months to break down, many months to benefit your soil and to amend your soil. And so that's what I'm trying to do. It's February 3rd right now. Deer season just ended on January 15th here in Missouri. So, you know, if you're like me and you're interested in 365-day nutrition, 365-day deer program, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm out here on, like I said, on February 3rd. Want to get this in the ground now. So the first thing I'm going to do is mow down this screening, and then I'm going to take the fertilizer spreader on the back of the four-wheeler and I'm going to spread that gypsum and then let it have several months to work into the soil and make some of those amendments like I talked about. So I won't even be planting anything until I probably frost seed some clover here in a month or so, or in the next several weeks. But the clover is not really what I'm doing this for. It's more for the screenings and just some of the soil that needs some work to help it be more fertile and help it do a better job as far as growing forages and making healthier forages. So like I said, my process is going to be mowing all this down so that I can get that gypsum pellets down to the soil better. Of course, it'll have many months to be able to work itself into the soil. And then from there, I'm going to take the four-wheeler with the fertilizer spreader. I've got about 200 pounds of the gypsum to put down. I'm only working with maybe a half an acre here, and I'm just going to spread it over everything. Even if I haven't had issues, I don't think it can hurt it too bad. I think all it can do is really help the soil. So that's what the process is going to be. So of course, if you're planning on doing something like this, I would recommend taking a soil sample first. I would recommend getting an idea of how have your forages been growing, how do they look, are they deficient, do they seem to be deficient in anything? And if that's the case and you feel like gypsum can help your soils or help your food plots, then I'd recommend doing it. Honestly, where I was able to buy these at our local co-op, it was only $8 for a 40-pound bag, so you're not really hitting the bank too hard on these. And you know, if it does help my forages to be healthier, it helps them be greener, it helps the soil to loosen up a little bit, I think it's definitely a good investment. The gypsum fertilizer is not going to just be the only fertilizer I'll put down on the forages. So when I come back in the beginning of June and go to plant this screening again, I'll hit it with another set of fertilizer that's specific for this screening. So it's going to be a lot of high nitrogen, high phosphorus fertilizer. Probably just use something that's a triple 13 or something like that. And then we'll probably hit it with some liquid fertilizer at some point too, after it grows, and do some foliar feeding. So gypsum's not the only answer for fertilizing this forage, this screening, but it definitely, I hope, will help with helping it be healthier long term and giving it that nice green color and making it an overall healthier plant. Thank you for watching Farming for Whitetails. We'll see you next time. Well, for those of you who watch my videos and you see these little mics clipped onto me, when I was mowing just now, mowing the screening down, I got done and forgot that I had not taken the mic off of my overall straps here, and it was gone. And I told my dad, and you know, not a big deal. They don't cost very much money or whatever. And I've got another one, but then I had the idea, you know, the video would have still been getting the audio to it. So I was able to go back and watch the video and see where the audio cut out, and it was right over there. So my dad and I got to looking around. There's Dad. We got to looking around, and found the mic on the ground, found the clip, and it still works. I just thought you guys would find that interesting.